all-important edition of this program. My name is Uchemefo, and I'm speaking on the platform of Igbo Biafra Nationalist Movement and the indigenous people of Igbo Nation for self-determination. We have to continually and continuously restate our mission with a view to redirecting our people on what needs to be done with respect to Igbo nation, Igbo Biafra, Southeast self-determination. I need to remind our people once again and restate this statement of fact that we have refined, reviewed, and recalibrated and refocused the Biafra Restoration Project. It is about Igbo, Southeast, Igbo self-determination for the emancipation of an Igbo nation state. Our homeland is the present Southeast. We recognize, of course, that through the manipulation, gerrymandering of boundaries, delineation of boundaries embarked upon by successive Nigerian governments, a lot of Igbo communities were uprooted. They were uprooted and put into hostile environment in the South, in the Middle Belt regions of Nigeria. We, of course, are mindful of all this. But what we are stating here is that our homeland is the present Southeast. As time progresses, there is, of course, possibility of subject to negotiation. These our brothers, these Igbo communities joining their kith and kin in the Southeast, which is, of course, the heartland, the ancestral homeland of the Igbo people. So having stated that, I want to restate our mission, our vision, and our principles. The Igbo Biafra nationalist movement is at the vanguard of advocating for the inherent right of Igbo, the Igbo nation, the Southeast, to determine their future based on a strong commitment to the principles of justice, democracy, and human rights. The core principle of our movement is that the Igbo nation, the Southeast, Igbo, possesses the rightful authority and justification to protect itself while also advocating for peaceful and sustainable development plan that benefits everyone else. It is simply Igbo or Igbo nation self-determination. So we believe in so many other principles and ideals that are at the center of self-determination for the emancipation of an Igbo nation state called Igbo. We believe in legitimate self-defense. We affirm the legitimate right of the Igbo people or Igbo nation to safeguard their lives, culture, and lands against any acts of aggression or harassment from external or from internal forces. The exercise of the right to lawful self-defense is carried out in accordance with international law with a strong emphasis on nonviolence and the utmost importance placed on protecting civilian lives. That is the core value. That is the one of the epitome and foundation of Igbo Biafra nationalism. It involves also uniting all the Igbo Kitan kings in Igbo, in the South-South, in the Middle Belt, in the Cameroons, in Equatorial Guinea, in Gabon, and the rest of it, and in fact, all over the world, where the obnoxious and man-saying humanity against his fellow man called slavery has dealt us a lot of devastating blows. These are, of course, efforts, work in progress, and we will get there someday. We believe in the principle of self-determination. So at the core of our movement is the pursuit of self-determination for the Igbo nation. We believe in our people's right to freely determine their political status, their economic and social and cultural development. Our commitment is to facilitate a democratic process that reflects the true will of the Igbo people, respecting their rich history and diverse perspectives. The Igbo Biafra nationalist movement and the indigenous people of Igbo nation are resolute in their commitment to the rule of law. We advocate for a society where laws are transparently made, justly applied, and equally enforced. A society where every individual's rights are protected by the law, regardless of their status or allegiance. More importantly, our movement upholds religious freedom, advocating for an environment where all individuals can practice their own faith freely and without fear of persecution. We stand against religious intolerance. We stand against religious bigotry. We stand against religious discrimination. We promote interfaith dialogue and understanding as essential components of a harmonious society. We are committed to the principles of democracy, believing that governance should, and by all means, be by the consent of the governed. Our advocacy is for transparent, inclusive, and accountable governance structures that allow for the equitable participation of all Igbo citizens in the decision-making processes that affect their lives. The Igbo Biafra nationalist movement and the indigenous people of Igbo nation for self-determination, we support, adopt, and apply the democratic principle of referendum or plebiscite in deciding matters of national interest and public interest issues where necessary and when applicable. We recognize and apply ourselves to sustainable development. The critical importance of sustainable development is at the core of our movement, and we are dedicated to promoting policies and practices that ensure economic growth, environmental protection, and social development that are at the core of human future and advancement of our people. We pursue them hand in hand with other principles that we have named or outlined. We aim to achieve a balance where the needs of all the present issues before us do not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. We believe in human rights, social justice, and fundamental freedoms, and that is central to our ideology. And it is the unwavering belief in these principles of human rights, social justice, and fundamental freedoms that ensure what we do, and ensure that it will remain permanent in human mind and in our consciousness. We advocate for protecting and promoting civil, political, and economic and social and cultural rights of all people as enshrined in international human rights treaties. Our commitment is to fight against inequality, injustice, and oppression, striving for a society where dignity, freedom, and justice prevail for everyone. More importantly, as you can see, Nigeria has treated our people with disdain. The Southeast has been relegated to the background. The status of the Southeast is nothing to write home about within the context of Nigeria's political arrangement. The Southeasterners are essentially second-class citizens in Nigeria. They have been cabinated, they have been underrepresented, they have been discriminated against, they have been singled out for total, gradual dehumanization and destruction eventually. And that is why we are the platform or on the platform and essentially the Igbo Biafra nationalist movement and the indigenous people of Igbo nation for self-determination. We continue to impress it on the political representatives from the Southeast to move swiftly and courageously to confront the Nigerian state on these obnoxious, state-sponsored and entrenched policy of apartheid, of marginalization, of discrimination, of oppression against our people. They must have to take legal action. They must have to take political action. They must have to take other means of activism to draw the attention of the international community to the plight of our people. And if at the end, all internal remedies are exhausted, the Southeast will have no other option but to seek her future either within Nigeria or to seek their future without Nigeria. Thank you. My name is Richard Mefo, and I'll reach you from London. God bless.